In this video, we're going to look at a couple examples of going from condensed structures to Lewis structures. Now, I'll be honest, except for really simple molecules, I don't love these condensed structures, so I won't use them very often. But in other courses, you may see these, and so it's important to be able to interpret these condensed structures. So about the only time these condensed structures I find very useful is when we have sort of straight chain alkanes, where we just have a bunch of carbons linked together. And in that case, it is fairly simple to draw the condensed structures and to interpret them. So in this case, I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons all attached in a chain. The ones on the end have 3 hydrogens, the ones in the middle have 2 hydrogens, and so the Lewis structure is fairly easy to draw in this case. So I've got my 5 carbons in a chain. Each one on the end has 3 hydrogens. And then each of the carbons in the middle has 2. Alright, so in that case, the condensed structure is a lot faster to write than the Lewis structure, and it's fairly easy to interpret. And so for something like this pentane, I could see using the condensed structures. But let's look at a couple more complicated examples. Okay, so when you see these parentheses, that means that however many, whatever number is outside of the parentheses, that tells you how many of these groups are attached to this atom. And so what I usually do with the parentheses is I draw everything else that doesn't have the parentheses, and then I go back and I put in the stuff with the parentheses on the end. So to start with, I'm just going to focus on the last part of the molecule. And so I'm going to draw CH, CH2, CH2, and then there's an OH attached to the last carbon. So I'll have CH, CH2, CH2, and there's an OH attached to that guy in the end. And then to this carbon, I've also got these 2 CH2, CH3 groups. So I can do 1. So here's my CH2. There's one of the CH2, CH3s. And then here's the other CH2, CH3. So my strategy is usually do everything except the parentheses, and then I go back and put the parentheses in at the end. Okay, here's another one. So again, I'm just going to draw this piece of it, and then I'll put the 2 methyls on in the end. So I've got a carbon double bonded to a CH. Then I have a CH2 and a CH3. Okay, and then now I can go in and I can put the 2 CH3s onto that first carbon that I drew. Oops. Sorry, I'm using a shorthand here. If I want the Lewis structure, then I got to show all the bonds. So I need to draw them out. Okay, one more example. All right, so again, I'm going to start and just draw the stuff that's not involved in the parentheses, and I'll worry about that piece at the end. So I start with a CH2. It's double bonded to a CH. Then I've got a CH2. I then have an oxygen connected to a CH2, which is connected to a CH. And then to this last carbon, I've got 2 CH3s. So I'll go C. Okay, and that's my last example on drawing these condensed structures, or drawing the Lewis structures from the condensed structures.